He was practically on the verge of tears. "Isn't it just silver you're after? You could have just said so. Was there any need for such brutality?" Our protagonist, however, paid his victim's distress no mind. He was, in fact, gleefully counting the money, a wide grin plastered across his face. "You've taken everything I can give. Can you let me go now?" Hearing Yang Mo's words, the protagonist turned to him with a slight smile. Yang Mo, appraisal apprentice from the Zhu Kingdom, professional con man. You operate under the guise of an appraiser, swindling money and seducing for gain, proficient in martial techniques and the art of bewitching voice. Your words can beguile hearts, making people trust you implicitly. How do you know all this? Who in the blazes are you? Yang Mo's heart lurched in terror upon hearing the protagonist's words. Knowing my name isn't strange. After all, I'm a wanted man. Anyone paying a bit of attention could figure that out. But this art of bewitching voice. I've never told a soul about practicing it. How could he possibly know? Don't you worry your little head about how I know. I know far more than just this about you. I'm even perfectly clear on things like the vital points of your cultivation. I can spare your life, but... As he spoke, the protagonist suddenly lifted his leg. A swift kick landed squarely on Yang Mo. To prevent you from causing any more trouble in the future, I'll have to cripple you first. The immense force sent Yang Mo flying. He slammed into a distant enclosing wall. All right, you can scram now. Yang Mo discovered, to his utter horror, that he had been reduced to a cripple, his cultivation completely gone. Meanwhile, on another side of things, Shang Bin, who had been repeatedly put in his place by our protagonist, ran to his grandfather to complain. "Grandfather, didn't you say this heaven-roaring lion was very obedient? I told it to teach that trash Zhang Xuan a lesson. So why did it not only refuse to move but also end up thrashing me?" Faced with Shang Bin's accusations, the heaven-roaring lion primly and arrogantly averted its gaze. Elder Shang Chen felt quite frustrated by this as well. Even though I only barely managed to subdue this heaven-roaring lion, and can usually only communicate with it as an equal, we still have a contract no matter what. I tasked it with protecting my grandson. So, why did it listen to someone else and viciously attack Shang Bin instead? Seeing the heaven-roaring lion's haughty posture, Shang Bin grew even more furious, cursing inwardly, damn it all. When it sees Zhang Xuan, it acts like a damned lapdog. Who exactly is your master anyway? To appease his grandson, elder. Shang Chen could only state awkwardly that he would definitely have a good talk with the heaven-roaring lion later. At this, Shang Bin pleaded, "Grandfather, this time you absolutely must teach that Zhang Xuan a harsh lesson for me. It'd be best to revoke his teaching license and kick him out of the academy." Shang Chen waved his hand with a smile. "Rest assured I'll handle this matter." However, that Zhang Xuan seems to have stumbled into some incredible dumb luck. He actually managed to recruit 5 students. Without a suitable pretext, even for me, it would be quite troublesome to expel a registered teacher. Hearing Shang Chen say this, Shang Bin quickly interjected. "I've already found a pretext for you, grandfather. Teacher Xiong has a student named Liu Yang. He was coerced by Zhang Xuan into becoming his student. Teacher Xiong has already applied for an inquiry of the heart's will for tomorrow. When the time comes, as long as you make an appearance..." "Grandfather, revoking his qualification will be utterly simple." Shang Chen's eyes lit up upon hearing this. "Coercion? Are you certain?" Shang Bin replied, "I'm certain." "If that's the case, tomorrow I'll go invite Elder Mo from the Teachers Guild. Let him be a witness. If the inquiry of the heart's will truly reveals that this Liu Yang isn't genuinely and willingly his student, then expelling him and revoking his teaching license might just be possible." Upon hearing this, Shang Bin's face immediately lit up with a wide, joyful smile. "Thank you, grandfather. You wretched brat, go ahead and be smug for now. Tomorrow, when you've lost your teaching license, let's see how arrogant you can still be. The next day, our protagonist arrived at his classroom early in the morning. He was currently still vexed about the matter of a sixth-layer cultivation technique. Although he had collected a few manuals from Master Liu Chen's place yesterday, the quantity was far too small. It was simply not enough to synthesize a new, complete technique. Forget it. I'll just have to find a way to read more books first. With this thought, he pushed open the door and walked into the classroom. However, the scene before him left him somewhat astonished. Our protagonist stared blankly at his 5 students. "What are you all doing?" Ever since the protagonist had demonstrated his true strength, his 5 disciples held him in utmost admiration. Early in the morning, just as the protagonist stepped into the classroom, he saw them already. There, waiting for him. Why do all these students seem so fired up? It's like they've become completely different people. "Zhao Ya, come here for a moment." Speaking, the protagonist took a wooden box from his robes and handed it to her. "Grind this medicinal herb into a powder, mix it with water and consume it. You should be fully recovered in about 3 days." Zhao Ya accepted the wooden box, a puzzled expression on her face. She opened it and took a look. Inside, to her astonishment, lay a frigid Sun Mother herb. Immediately after, the protagonist produced 5 books and looked at the assembled students. "Also, these are cultivation techniques I personally transcribed last night, tailored to each of your individual constitutions. From now on, follow these to cultivate." The 5 students eagerly accepted their respective cultivation manuals. Upon seeing the contents within, they were all utterly astounded. "This cultivation technique? I've never even heard of it in the academy. Did teacher really write this? Himself? This is incredible. Teacher actually created his own cultivation technique." Zhao Ya, for her part, was even more profoundly shocked. The Boyu art was originally created by our family, by an 8th-level Grandmaster Realm expert from a bygone era. But this manual, it's several times more potent than the white jade art I'm currently cultivating. Just as they stood there, dumbfounded, they heard the protagonist speak, a hint of apology in his voice. "About these techniques. Well, I only wrote them last night. I was in a rush to give them to you for your cultivation today, so I haven't come up with any names yet. So, just take a look and feel free to pick whatever names you like for them." "What?" The moment he said this, utter disbelief washed over everyone's faces. Pick whatever names we like? Did I hear that correctly?" "Teacher, can we really name these manuals?" The protagonist smiled. "Name them as you please." At this, they were all completely floored. For a teacher to create even one cultivation technique is already an extraordinary feat. And now he's actually produced 5 distinct sets. What's more, each one is specifically tailored to one of us, and he's even letting us name them. Teacher actually stayed up all night, tirelessly creating these techniques just for us. Throughout the entire Hongtian Academy, it's completely unheard of for any teacher to personally devise unique cultivation techniques for their students. Teacher's ability and this sheer magnanimity, they're unparalleled within the academy, and I actually dared to doubt whether this teacher was even capable of instructing us. As these thoughts struck them, the 5 students, as if by unspoken agreement, all knelt down in unison. "Thank you, teacher." At this very moment, the protagonist's towering image in their hearts had soared to its absolute zenith. "Teacher Zhang, rest assured, we guarantee that we will never let these cultivation techniques be known to outsiders. Whoever dares to leak them will willingly accept any punishment." The protagonist heard this. Not leak them? That's even better. These cultivation techniques were all generated by the Library of Heaven's Path, after all. Them not being spread around will save me a lot of potential trouble. Meanwhile, just outside the classroom's enclosing wall, Shen Biru was wrestling with herself, debating whether to swallow her pride and seek out the protagonist. Finally, she managed to concoct a suitable justification for herself. I'm just going over there to expose his deceptions. I have absolutely no other intentions, no more dwelling on it. I absolutely must get to the bottom of this today. With newfound resolve, Shen Biru strode purposefully towards the protagonist's classroom. But just as she arrived at the doorway, she noticed someone already standing there. This individual was none other than Zhao Ya's steward. Yao Han-he, too, was in a dilemma, Juji, struggling whether or not he should enter. If I rush in now, I'm afraid young miss will be displeased, but if I don't go in, I'm worried she'll be wronged or suffer some grievance, as he was. Lost in thought, a voice suddenly sounded from behind him. Excuse me, and you are? If you're merely a passer-by, then don't meddle in affairs here, lest you inadvertently get caught in the crossfire. Caught in the crossfire? Me? Upon hearing this, Shen Biru's expression turned grave. This fellow, he couldn't have been invited by Shang Bin to teach Zhang Xuan a lesson, could he? Recalling Shang Bin's various despicable actions in the past, Shen Biru became even more convinced of her assumption. Thus, she tentatively began to question him. Are you aware of the severe penalty for attacking a teacher within the academy grounds? Attack a teacher? Who would have thought that Shen Biru's words would instead trigger Butler Yao's own suspicions? The day before yesterday, it was all because Shang Bin and Zhang Xuan were fighting, supposedly over this Shen Biru's affections, driven by jealousy. And that's precisely when I received that ruthless beating. Could it be? With this thought, he asked sharply, So, you're that Shen? Biru? Since you know who I am? If you've got any sense, then get lost at once. Are you looking to pick a fight with me? Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. Are you deliberately trying to be a nuisance, looking for trouble? Butler Yao heard this and thought with a sneer, So it really is you, you little minx. Not. Going to be polite, huh? Aren't you the one who came here looking for trouble with me? Shen Biru, seeing the turn of events, wasted no more words and immediately charged forward. This whole affair started because of me. I can't let Teacher Zhang be dragged into it any further. Butler Yao, meanwhile, was already seething with a bellyful of pent-up rage. Seeing his opponent make a move, he instantly lunged forward to meet her. And so, just like that, the two of them, after their own entirely misguided and self-righteous analyses of the situation, began to fight. Shang Bin, his spirits soaring after securing his grandfather's assistance, was currently strolling idly through the academy with his sycophantic advisor, Xiong. This time, Zhang Xuan is absolutely doomed. As long as Zhang Xuan and that student of his make it to the Tower of the Heart's Will, they can just wait to have their reputations utterly shattered before being kicked out of the academy in disgrace. Precisely. Once Zhang Xuan is expelled from the academy, Teacher Shen will undoubtedly be deeply impressed by young Master Shang's decisive methods. She'll find it impossible to resist your charm then. With the bolstering encouragement of his pig-headed teammate, Shang Bin's already inflated confidence reached new, inexplicable heights. Biru must have been deceived by that brat's honeyed words yesterday. That's the only reason she would have had a meal with him. As long as that scoundrel gets kicked out of the academy, I refuse to believe I can't win her over. In that case, I wish young Master Shang an early success in capturing the beauty's heart. Just as Shang Bin was basking in this deluge of fawning praise, a commotion nearby caught Cao Xiong's attention. Young Master Shang! Look quickly! Shang Bin, hearing the urgency, turned his head, a puzzled look on his face. He was astonished to see Shen Biru locked in combat with Butler Yao. Young Master Shang, could it be? Teacher Shen found out you were beaten up by this fellow. Perhaps she's furious on your behalf and is trying to avenge you? Upon hearing this, Shang Bin's heart instantly filled with a thrilling flutter of excitement. Upon hearing this, Shang Bin's heart instantly filled with a thrilling flutter of excitement. Really? Of course. Otherwise, why would those two be fighting? It makes no sense. Teacher Shen is known for her gentle nature and is always friendly. To others. I honestly can't think of any other reason she would go to such lengths for you. I'm certain Teacher Shen has strong feelings for you. What? She likes me? After this bout of well-reasoned misdirection, Shang Bin had been successfully led completely astray by Xiong. No, I can't let her get hurt because of me. Learning of his goddess's supposed feelings, Shang Bin was instantly fired. Up, he charged forward, shouting, "Teacher Shen, I'm here to help you!" However, this very action further solidified Butler Yao's suspicions. So the two of them really are in cahoots. Despicable. On the other side, Shen Biru, witnessing this, was utterly bewildered. What's he doing here? What kind of trick is he trying? To pull now? Shang Bin was seen leaping into the air, aiming a kick at Butler Yao. Die, Yao Han! Seeing this unfold, Shen Biru had a sudden epiphany. No wonder this fellow insisted on waiting by the entrance. So, he was waiting for Shang Bin to arrive, and then stage a hero rescues the damsel scene to grab my attention. The nerve. Meanwhile, Shang Bin remained blissfully unaware of Shen Biru's thoughts. His only desire at this moment was to show off in front of his goddess. How dare you touch my goddess? I'll fight you to the death. However, he had conveniently forgotten the vast disparity in their strength. Before he could even get close, Yao Han seized him. What followed was a thorough pummeling. You? Fight to the death? Go on, try being arrogant one more time for me to see. Xiong, seeing the dire situation, hurried over to Shen Biru. Teacher Shen, quickly, go help young Master Shang. He can't hold out much longer. Yet Shen Biru was now firmly convinced they were merely putting on an act. She asked deliberately, "So it's all right if I go and help now?" "Yes. If you don't save him, young Master Shang will surely be beaten to death." "All right, then," Shen Biru agreed and walked over. But inwardly, she was scheming, "Just you wait. I'll expose your little charade." At this moment, Yao Han, who was thoroughly enjoying the fight, saw Shen Biru approaching. He reasoned that dealing with both of them simultaneously would be somewhat troublesome. Best to retreat for today. Having made up his mind, he quickly tossed Shang Bin aside. "Very well. I'll remember today's grudge. The mountains are high, and the rivers are long. The kindness you two have shown me today, I will definitely repay in the future." With that, he stomped his foot hard on the ground and vanished from the spot. This only further convinced Shen Biru that they were definitely putting on a coordinated act. Her disdain for Shang Bin intensified by several degrees. Poor young master. Shang, it seemed this beating was all for naught. Just then, the classroom door swung open. The protagonist emerged. "What are you all clamoring about at my classroom door?" Shang Bin opened his mouth, attempting to say something, but his swollen, sausage-like lips just flapped uselessly for a good while, failing to articulate anything clearly. Fortunately, Xiong was there to translate for him. "Zhang Xuan, you've arrived just in time. I have already lodged a formal complaint with the Academy. I contend that you used fraudulent means to coerce my student Liu Yang into becoming your disciple. The Academy has now approved an inquiry of the heart's will. I advise you to quickly bring Liu Yang over." Upon hearing these words, the protagonist's brow furrowed slightly. An inquiry of the heart's will? Shang Bin and Xiong had applied for an inquiry of the heart's will. If it was proven that the student, Liu Yang, had not willingly chosen the protagonist as his master, then the protagonist would be expelled from the Academy. Hearing this news, Shen Biru felt a pang of unease. This is clearly a scheme targeting Teacher Zhang. She immediately advised him, "Teacher Zhang Xuan, don't go." Who would have thought that the protagonist would agree with a completely nonchalant expression? "All right, I'll go." "What?" At these words, Shen Biru was momentarily stunned. Xiong and Shang Bin were equally taken aback. "He's not even going to put up a struggle?" Little did they know that Liu Yang had long since become utterly and completely convinced of the protagonist's abilities. So utterly convinced that if the protagonist asked him to jump off a building to practice lightness skills, he'd probably agree without a second thought. When the protagonist called Liu Yang out, Xiong was inwardly gloating on the side. "Young Master Shang, rest assured. I was the one who initially recruited this Liu Yang. He definitely wants to be my student. I'm confident of it." Hearing him say this, Shang Bin also relaxed and smiled. "That's good then." However, Shen Biru, at this moment, felt a twinge of exasperation. How could he agree to something like this? He should have at least tried to refuse or delay it somehow. To this, the protagonist offered no explanation, merely scratching his head with a smile. "It's nothing." Just then, Liu Yang also walked out. "Teacher, what is it?" "Come with me to a place right now." Shen Biru, seeing the protagonist's stubbornness, felt a surge of annoyance. This fellow clearly knows that Shang Bin's grandfather is the director of education, and he still dares to agree? If he's looking for trouble, he deserves whatever he gets. But this whole thing definitely started because of me. No matter what, I can't just stand by and do nothing. I should go and see what happens. Meanwhile, inside Hongtian Academy's tower of the Heart's Will, Shang Chen was currently laying the groundwork. "Elder Mo, it seems I'll have to trouble you this time. If this instructor truly resorted to coercing someone into becoming his student, I'd unquestionably report him to the guild and see his teaching credentials revoked. This particular instructor scored an abysmal 0 in the last teacher assessment. I'd previously issued him an ultimatum: find students or face immediate dismissal. Perhaps the pressure finally got to him, leading him to this desperate measure. Seeing the regret etched on Shang Chen's face, Elder Mo was quick to offer words of comfort. "Elder Shang, what nonsense you speak. You're simply too benevolent." At that, Shang Chen once again feigned an expression of self-reproach. If it weren't for Teacher Cao Xiong's righteous decision to report this, and his specific request for a mind-heart interrogation, I might have remained entirely in the dark. While it's true that a mind-heart interrogation can strain the bonds of collegiality among instructors, the ability to root out such a detrimental influence makes it a worthy endeavor. So please, don't blame yourself. Upon hearing Elder Mo's words, the faintest smirk touched the corners of Shang Chen's lips. Just then, the great doors of the Mind-Heart Tower creaked open, and Shang Bin strode in, a small retinue in tow. "Elder Shang, we've arrived!" The moment Shang Chen got a clear look at his grandson's face, he froze. "Shang Bin! You! What in the world happened to you this time?" "It's nothing at all. Just a minor mishap," Shang Bin replied, his voice attempting nonchalance. Shang Chen stared at the boy's face, which was now so battered it was almost unrecognizable. Still, he decided to produce a healing pill for him. Shang Bin, seeing the gesture, didn't feign reluctance and accepted the pill with a quick word of thanks. At this moment, Xiong suddenly stepped forward, cupping his fists in a martial salute. "Elder Mo, I implore you to uphold justice on my behalf. Zhang Xuan has grievously violated the sacred rules of fair competition among instructors. He coerced Liu Yang, a student who had already formally accepted me as his master, into becoming his own disciple. And it is for this reason I have specifically requested this mind-heart interrogation, to see justice done for Liu Yang." Liu Yang, still utterly bewildered by the proceedings, wore an expression of pure confusion upon hearing this. A mind-heart interrogation? Justice for me? What in the blazes is going on? Zhang Xuan, however, in a striking departure from his usual composure, suddenly adopted an expression of utter panic. "Teacher Cao, Liu Yang, he willingly became my student. I swear, I never forced him. This only deepened Liu Yang's bewilderment. Why does Teacher Zhang suddenly seem so flustered? Just then, Zhang Xuan turned his head, his gaze locking onto Liu Yang. "Liu Yang," he urged, tell them clearly. I didn't coerce you, did I?" Catching Zhang Xuan's subtle cue, Liu Yang understood in a flash. "So, that's Teacher Zhang's game. He's looking to turn the tables on these guys." And so, the two master actors began their performance. Liu Yang, trembling from head to toe, stammered out, "How could you—" No, Teacher Zhang didn't force me at all. I was entirely willing." Elder Mo, observing this, was taken aback. To think the boy was this terrified? His expression hardening, he fixed his gaze on Zhang Xuan. "You are Zhang Xuan, correct? I will give you one opportunity. Quietly withdraw Liu Yang from your tutelage. Allow him to re-enroll under Teacher Cao, and we can dispense with this mind-heart interrogation." Upon hearing this, both Shang Bin and Xiong became visibly agitated. "Elder Mo, you mustn't!" Shang Bin interjected. "Elder Mo, Teacher Cao has already submitted the application for the mind-heart interrogation, and the Academy has formally approved it. To halt the proceedings now, would it not suggest that the Academy's regulations are to be treated as mere child's play?" Xiong quickly chimed in. "Indeed, Elder Mo, the choice ultimately rests with Liu Yang." Xiong pressed on, his voice earnest. "Yes, Elder Mo. My only wish is for him to be able to follow his heart's true desire, to choose the instructor he genuinely reveres, not one he was forced to accept under duress." "Very well." Elder Mo, seeing their insistence, decided not to argue further. "Since the mind-heart interrogation has been invoked, let us be perfectly clear on the rules. Once the assessment is complete, whomever Liu Yang genuinely wishes to be his master shall be declared the victor. Naturally, where there is a loser, there must be a penalty. The terms of this penalty must be established beforehand. At this juncture," Shang Chen swiftly interjected, "Teacher Cao Xiong has opted for the gravest penalty this time. That is to say, the losing party will be expelled from the Academy entirely. Zhang Xuan, do you have any objections to this?" Hearing these terms, Zhang Xuan feigned a moment of hesitation. "Teacher Cao and I, well, we don't harbor any profound animosity towards each other. To have him expelled just like that, isn't that a touch too severe?" Then a seemingly benevolent smile spread across his face as he continued. "Direct expulsion. I still feel it's a bit on the harsh side. How about this? Instead of outright expulsion, we simply revoke the loser's teaching credentials, and then administer 100 strikes with the god-slaying cudgel." The moment these words left his lips, everyone present stared utterly dumbfounded. Just who is the more savage one here? Has this instructor lost his mind? Seriously? Whose brain is fried? Good heavens! Why would anyone be so hard on themselves as to suggest the god-slaying cudgel? Cao Xiong and Shang Bin had orchestrated this entire confrontation to prove Zhang Xuan had coerced a student. They had specifically requested the mind-heart interrogation, with the agreed-upon stake that the loser would be banished from Hongtian Academy. Just when everyone was convinced Zhang Xuan was doomed to lose, he himself proposed that the loser should instead have their teaching credentials revoked, and, on top of that, endure 100 blows from the god-slaying cudgel. This audacious counter-proposal stunned every instructor present. Expulsion from the academy, while severe, still left one a teacher. One could theoretically find a position at another institution, but to have one's teaching credentials revoked, that was tantamount to being stripped of one's very identity as an educator. Wherever one went, they would be met with derision and scorn. Is this fellow actively trying to accelerate his own demise and adding 100 lashes from the god-slaying cudgel on top of it all? 100 strokes from that instrument could cripple even a formidable cultivator, leaving them half dead at best.